From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
Once you start racing, you'll start to know that the more information your driver can have, the better. One of the things that we found is that the Sentinel system allows you to be able to not only get your driver the information that they need, but also be able to share the information with the pit and anybody who's got internet availability. You can integrate your AIM data. You can integrate the driver tag, as in who is the driver in the car. You can also integrate in your standings and who is ahead or behind of you into the dash, as well as be able to see flag statuses in case there's a yellow flag or a red flag or a black flag. Hopefully none of those, but they do happen. This was developed by a fellow racer, former guest, James Candelaria, and he is seeing a lot of people using it in the SCCA, WRL, AER, and we are doing demos at our paddocks whenever we are at the track. It could be at a race or it could be at an HBD. If you're interested and want to come in and see how it is, we can give you a demo. And if you find that it's something that would be helpful to your racing, please use our discount code, which will save you 10% on anything that you buy. And it is creatively GHIT, GHIT, for Garage Heroes in Training. So hopefully you will find that the Sentinel system is as useful for your racing as we have found it for ours.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed. You're ready to move up.
Dominating with Dawson.
We've got a medical emergency. We need Ben Dawson. Ben Dawson!
Dawson
Ben
time.
Dawson, bouncing off of COVID right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, all the guys, for letting me out of that one. Not that fun. I give it 0 stars.
0 stars. 2 thumbs down, way down.
It certainly could have been worse, as we all know. I'm lucky to kind of just get away with having some kind of bad cold symptoms and moving on in my life.
No, I can't believe they shaved your head, but whatever.
Wow.
That's the real quarantine cut, right?
That would be bad. I don't even know what you'd look like there.
Weird,
I saw a picture of you with
weird.
short hair, and it was like, holy cow, who is that guy?
There you go.
Anyway, that's all right. I think we've digressed. We haven't even started yet, and we've already digressed.
I know.
So this could be a new record for us. But Ben Dawson, we need to talk about CPR and racing.
Oh, great. That's where you wreck your car so bad that the corner workers can yank your stiff corpse out and start just wailing on it like chest
Exactly.
compressions. Is that it?
Cardiopulmonary
Cool.
resuscitation.
Who hasn't been there, right?
That would be me so far, and I'm hoping I stay that way.
That's right. I heard it break some ribs. I don't know.
Yeah, I try not to do any of that stuff. It's just bad for you.
What
But
are we talking about? What do we got?
in racing, we went to a clinic. It was a driving clinic, and they brought up the acronym CPR for the first time that we were aware of. I'm sure it's not original, but it's called Correct, Pause, and Recover. And Miss Vicky got all excited about it. And we talked to you about it a little bit in passing in an earlier Dominating with Dawson. I don't know why anybody missed any, but suppose they did.
All right.
Miss Vicky, do you remember the how excited you got about this?
No, I don't. Refresh me just a little bit.
You were at Lime Rock. We were going to the skid pad, and we started talking about the correct pause and recover.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody pays attention to these things. Somebody's got to.
Yeah. Well, that's when you start feeling it. It takes some practice. It takes some uncomfortable practice to get to that point. And the best thing I can recommend is a skid pad to do it.
Mhm.
skid pad, and after that it was like a mini autocross right after.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying a setting like that might be a safer place to learn this technique than Road Atlanta or maybe Sears Point, where there's walls all around
Well,
you?
yeah,
Watkins
that
Glen, yeah, not the best idea to go
no,
playing in
but
those.
you know, honestly, you can if you can probably do that like well, I would say in an abandoned parking lot, but I'm sure the cops will come after you for it. But
Yeah, not great.
no,
Yeah.
no, but
So
you really should do that.
so we've talked about it, but we never said what it is.
What
Okay.
is it?
What is it? Miss Vicky, you going to try or?
Oh, so I'm going to give it a shot here. So when you are driving a vehicle
Mhm.
and you start to slide the back end, um, accidentally or on purpose, there is a moment when your car loads up in that one direction of your slide, and then there's a pause before that load transfers. It starts going into the other direction, which causes a spin from correcting. If I have it right. So it's that pause is that what you're looking for so you can catch it and then straighten it out properly. Did I do that right? No, because it doesn't whip back. It doesn't whip back. Let me try again. Let me try this again.
Okay, you're limiting it to the rear end. So
Okay,
there's a
to the
problem
rear
there.
end.
No,
Okay,
you're
to the
limiting
rear
it
end.
to the rear end. It doesn't
Okay,
have to be the rear end.
no.
The
So
car gets
when
out
you,
of shape.
yeah,
Car's doing something you don't want it to do.
right.
It's out of shape from where it
You
should
have
be.
lost traction. How about that?
Okay.
And your car starts to go in a way that it is not comfortable, that you are not comfortable with. But before it goes completely around, whatever it is,
Mhm.
there's a pause that you have.
Nope. So
Okay.
you're getting ahead of yourself.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So
Explain it out.
so pretend
Hmm.
that you're driving, could be on a track, could be on an autocross, whatever, and the car starts to go away you don't want it to go.
Right.
Could be the front starts to sliding, could be the back starts to come around. Either of these things could be it. And you put in an adjustment. It could be a foot pedal adjustment or it could be a steering wheel adjustment. Usually you're going to think about it as a steering wheel adjustment in most cases, but let's just say it's an adjustment of any type. And you correct. And then
Hmm.
when you input the correction, and Ben can shake his head or not, we have no video, so it doesn't really matter. And you put in the correction, you've got to pause just a little bit for the correction to take its effect.
Yeah.
And then you've got to put in another to recover because the correction is going to potentially take you into a worse place or at least as
Right.
bad a place, just a different one. And you've got to get back to where you want to be. So you have two steps with a slight delay in the middle to let the actions happen, but you can't just do one because if you let's say you're sliding out and your rear end is coming out, you're going left and the rear end's going out to the right. What you should do is you should quickly turn into the skid, which is turn the car to the right. Now, if you pause and don't do anything after that, your car will now go to the right, which is not what you want because you wanted to go left. So you have to recover and go back to the left and resume normal driving. How did I do? How did I do, Mr. Dawson?
Yeah, that's a great explanation of what it is. You know, when your car is out of shape in whatever direction it's going, if the front wheels are just plowing and not turning, even though you got the wheel turned, or if the ass end of the car is coming around in a way that's too fast for the steering input you did, either way, you're going to have to make some sort of correction. For me, if a car is not giving me the turning, if the car is not rotating and turning, even though I've got the wheels turned, it's understeering, so the front tires are just kind of pushing along. Usually I'm going to make a throttle pedal kind of swing at that first. I just want to do something to upset the front end. I'm not sure that's what everybody does, but I usually try to fight that with a little bit of throttle and kind of hopefully stay with the same angle. But in general, whatever correction you're going to make is going to be it's got to be big enough in amplitude to correct the thing that's already sliding too much. You have to make a pretty big swing at it. And then pause, like Bill said, pause for it to take effect and for the car to be headed back in line where it should be. And then as it does, recover back onto your line as smoothly as you can. But that big correction has to be of a severity or an angle or whatever input you're using. It needs to be disruptive enough to stop what's going on, right?
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
what's going on is already a big upset. So you're gonna have to use a big input to try to bring things back in line. And the pause is you can't just yank it one way and then yank it back the other way, because
Mm-mm.
you're not gonna fix it in that way. You have to pause, let traction and physics and chassis dynamics take a set, as they say in NASCAR. But you need to let everything kind of set, let the weight redistribute itself, and then try to reclaim what's happening. Because a lot of times you're that out of shape because you've done something pretty bad with your chassis dynamics and gotten the weight in the wrong place. That's a big reason why if you're not minding where your weight is and what you're doing. That's one way to quickly get out of shape. So you're going to have to replant the chassis, let all the weight distribute itself evenly, and then you can kind of get back online and get going.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to you, Miss Vicky?
That's exactly what I said.
That's almost exactly some of what you said. Yes. I mean, the hard part, I think, for you, and it's great that we have a podcast, is you know what to do, you just can't say it. And since it's an audio
Yes.
podcast, it's fantastic. So you're spectacular in this.
Getting there
You are, and that's in training, baby.
in training.
So some of the things that can affect the correct pause and recover is, Ben mentioned suspension dynamics. If you've got a mushy car, like a standard stock OEM car that kind of gives a little bit of a gentle roll that seems to have its own little speed, your correct may last a little longer. Your pause may last even longer. Whereas if you have something that's really, really stiff or really, really tightly sprung or stiff shocks and things like that, and the car is very responsive, you may have a very quick, correct pause recover as opposed to correct dip, 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 pause recover.
Right.
So you've got to vary your techniques depending on the car you're in and the situation you're in. Obviously, if you're trying to go around a puddle on the track, your correct pause and recover is going to be at a very different level than if you're heading straight to the guardrail of or a concrete wall. Your correct pause and recover may be significantly faster or significantly larger, because the impact of getting it wrong could literally be a much larger impact. So there's varieties, and it's not just one size fits all, and you can't just do one thing. It's as Ben said, when he does a correction, he defaults in some cases to his feet, maybe a little more gas, maybe a little more brake. Some people default to their hands, which is the steering wheel. Could be whatever, and everybody's going to have a certain predisposition. And I think that would probably be one of the bases for defining a driving style is, are you a hands first kind of guy or girl, or are you a feet first? And it varies. It even varies depending on the car too.
I should clarify. I should clarify my own technique a little bit. Is when I'm talking about I have a car that's pushing or understeering, that is a situation where I'm likely to try to stick with the same steering angle and maybe take a few slaps at that throttle. I'm not touching the brake. If I'm already in the turn and on the arc I thought was going to take me to the turn, and basically at the speed I know was okay to get to the turn, I'm not going to brake, but I may kind of slap at the throttle a little bit just to get the car yo-yoing and maybe get some grip back on those front wheels, because that's one way, at least for me. I'm not talking about center like, but I mean, I may work the pedal up and down a few times, and my hope there is that I can just get some traction back up to the front. But I'm never going to do anything as severe as like braking in the middle of the corner. If I'm already rolling in there at the speed that I thought was going to be acceptable. I mean, you know what I mean? If you're understeering, you're doing it at the speed you thought was going to work for you. So you're already losing a little bit of time there with the understeer that's happening. It's not taking you ideally where you want to be. So you're going to have to lose something. Like it didn't work. Whatever you did, your understeer didn't work. It's botched, but it's not botched so bad that I need to get on the brakes. I'm just going to kind of slap the throttle and hope the car will get back in line, and I can at least get off the corner. Okay. If I'm oversteering, if it's going the other way, I am not letting off. I'm not touching the pedal. I'm going to stay.
This isn't a rear wheel drive.
Okay. Well, yeah. In that case, it might be different, but for the most part, my approach is if I'm oversteering anywhere, I'll try to fix that with my hands, because I want to stay just like understeering. I still want to kind of hold that same arc I've tried to describe. I just want to get the car to pull down to it. So if it's oversteering, I'm likely to not do anything with the pedal, but you'll see me flinging my hands around if you ever watch a video of me driving a loose car. But if it's on the exit and I've already got my throttle set, if I've already got the throttle all the way down or partially down, and I got to come out of it, I hate that. I will fight it with my hands all day if I can just keep the throttle position where it is, and I'll take the squirrely line on the way out, because eventually I'm still faster that way than having to do a pedal fest and come back off rate. So I just wanted to clarify.
Yep.
I'll do anything I can to get the car back in line. I just got to do 2 different ways for 2 different effects.
Right.
It's very cool once you figure it out. And then you kind of have this big aha moment going, like, I could take on anything now. Because the boost of confidence that you have to be able to control the car at that point, oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it feels great when you catch your first few big slides. I mean, yeah. Then again, once you've been doing this long enough, it becomes mechanical, and you might not even think about it as it's happening. You might be like, dup, dup, dup. All right, I got to catch that guy. You know what I mean? It may not be the thing you're thinking about, the most of the lap. It may be just a kind of a side note to you trying to catch somebody and run them down. I'm like, God damn it, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to end this with a little flashback, and this is something that Miss Vicky, I believe, was on the track with us. I'm not sure. I know Jennifer was, and Ben, you've obviously had this happen at least once with you. So we're going around the turn. We're at we happen to be at New Jersey Motorsports Park on the Lightning course, and we're going around turn 3 or 4, somewhere in there, and all of a sudden the car starts to wash out. It turns out that the car in front of us had blown a hose, and there was a little bit of coolant on the.
Ooh, yeah.
The evil green drink.
The evil green, and it's an HPDE, so they didn't have to be water only. So these things happen. And I know Jennifer handled it well. I know Elizabeth handled it well. I know for sure, and I think Vicky, you were out there as well, weren't you? No, you were in a different group. All right. So let's pretend we're going around the turn. We've been on this course. We've run this around. We're in a car. It's same day. We've done it before. All of a sudden, this car starts to get a little loose, little like, what's going on here? This is an instance where I would say you should probably try doing some correct pause and recover type activity.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Exactly. So, Miss Vicky.
Yes.
Has it happened to you?
No.
Okay.
I've not had a slick track yet.
Okay. Okay. I will see what you said and ignore what you said because you've been on Mid-Ohio in the rain.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Got the slippies and your grippies.
That's right. So what do you do when you're on Mid-Ohio in the rain? Or Ben, when you're in coolant, what do you do when you're going through a turn and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is not right? How does correct pause and recover affect you?
Try to make as few inputs as possible. Number one, when I mean, what I would do is if I'm going over it in a straight line, just try not to.
Okay, what if you're in a turn?
If I'm in a turn, oh geez,
I would picture you're going 3, 4, 5 in lightning.
It hasn't happened to me yet, so I don't know how I would react.
I think I know what you're saying. And Vicky, you think it's ever happened, but I'm sure it has if you've been at Mid-Ohio in the wet. But if you're rolling into a turn, maybe it's been raining at one section of the track and not another, and all of a sudden you go into a turn expecting this level of grip, but oh crap, there's some water on the ground, you don't have it. I think it's a different scenario than I was talking about, where I go in with the amount of speed and grip I expect to have, and just understeer for some reason. But like if you suddenly have an upset condition, that's what you're asking, Bill, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you suddenly roll in there thinking you have X amount of grip, but you have 0. If there's coolant all over the track, or there's suddenly water where there hadn't been, so you go in there to your reasonable, ideal grip pace, and there's none. And I'll just say my answer for that, after all my hedging about like I'll never get off the throttle pedal on the exit if the car's loose, it's the last thing I'm going to do, or I don't want to change my line and keep my input the same if my car's understeering. All that stuff is out the window. If you go in there and suddenly don't have grip where there should have been grip, all bets are off. Your lap is done. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you feel that out of control, stop worrying about your lap. Worry about your car, keeping it away from other things. Don't touch anything with your car is the main motive thing in there. And so in my case, if I realize I've got like no grip like that, and I've got the wheel turned, so say we're coming out of a left-hand corner and the butt end's turned around, I'm going to turn the wheel to the right because the back is skidding toward the right. I'm going to make that correction, but I'm also going to be coming off the gas pretty rapidly. And as soon as I feel like,
but smoothly, right? You're not just going to pop.
Well, Yeah, I mean, how you come off throttle doesn't matter to me as much as how you go get on the brakes, for example. Like,
True.
once you're off, you're off. It's not like any of us are driving such powerful cars that we're really going to upset the whole balance of the car by coming off too
115
quickly.
horsepower, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'd be more concerned with coming off the throttle fairly quickly, just because that's one more thing to just neutralize what's happening. Like,
Sure.
Stop giving it added forward momentum at that point as quickly and reasonably as you can without upsetting things. But then, like in that case, if I think, hey, I'm hosed, it's time to start thinking about 2 feet in, because I mean, if you're out of control, even the best driver hitting a puddle of oil can completely lose it. So I'm trying to think about getting the car straight if I can. I'm doing what I can with my hands. I'm coming off the throttle, and I'm also just thinking, when can I reasonably get onto the brakes and just get this thing load down, slow it down, get it pointed back in the right direction, and then move on my life. Get out of the oil, go into the pits. They're gonna probably do it all black flag, all whatever they call it, to bring everybody in to clean up the big upset. I mean, you have a bunch of oil on the track, that's a big upset for everybody. So it's a track condition they'll have to correct. So that's how I would approach it. All bets are off. You just have to worry about your car and worry about not hitting anybody else or anything. Say your safety and the safety of people around you is a concern too. If you're loaded up in race traffic, you won't have as many considerations as you might if you're just all by yourself in a DE day. So you've always got to take all that stuff into account too. Like, what am I about to do? How is it going to affect the people around me?
Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing you brought up that we probably didn't talk about enough is, in that case, you're really in a correct pause until you figure it out.
The recover may not be right there. The recover might be further down the
but when you hit that oil or
that's,
slick stuff,
that's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were out there in the snow at
oh my gosh. Right?
But you've never been on a slick track, so it's never happened.
I went off with that snow.
I know.
That was 2 feet in. Or
no, but 5 minutes ago you've never been on a slick track, so I'm just
I haven't been on an oiled track or like a car dump.
Okay. Well, it's something to look forward to. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we beaten this one into the ground?
I think we have. I think I got it.
All right. Something to think about.
Correct pulmonary rate, right?
No, cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
Oh, okay. And then correct pause and recover once you threw all your health out.
Yeah, once you're done with the CPR, you do the CPR and you're good to go.
Got it. I'm thoroughly good on that.
All right, very well. That's what happens when you take Latin in college. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Dawson.
Thank you.